What's up, YouTube? Today's video, I'm talking about the Portland Trail Blazers and what to expect from them this upcoming offseason. They still need to do some retooling with their roster. They already made the trade for Jeremy Grant, which you can watch in another video. But we're going to be discussing a little bit more about their free agents and kind of decisions that they'll make and what we've heard rumor-wise for this team. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment on what you think the Blazers should do, and let's get into it. All right, so we have the Portland Trail Blazers coming up here as, team that missed the playoffs last year. Damian was injured. CJ McCollum was traded. I thought they were going to move off of more players like Nurkic, but they decided not to. And we'll talk a little bit about him here soon. But let's talk about the unrestricted free agents for the Blazers. Joe Ingles, Yusuf Nurkic, Ben McLemore. Recent speculation has come out and has been reported about how Ingles might be an option for them to keep. I'm not quite sure why that is the case. Maybe they just like him as a locker room guy or around the team, because I don't really see him playing next season. And even if he does, very limited minutes for a guy who's older, just suffered a really bad injury. And, we'll see. If he comes back and bounces back and is jumping off trampolines and dunking the ball, okay, cool, awesome. But I wouldn't. Personally, Nurkic, a guy who I thought they were going to trade last year, I think he's going to be brought back. It sounds like that it will be kind of in the high teens annually for his contract, and then they'll be able to do that and be good to go there. But the biggest kind of question mark here is one of their restricted free agents, and that's Anthony Simons. I don't see that any team will come out and try to get Anthony at all. I think that the Blazers will just immediately give him an offer, and then they'll move forward with that. I've heard that it's $20 million annually, roughly. Is he going to get the same money as Jalen Brunson? Maybe. We'll see. I think the latest thing that I had heard from the Blazers via rumors is that, let's pull this up here. Let's see here. I have it. Maybe I don't have it. Maybe I don't have it. So, but the Blazers, I think, will obviously keep Anthony, and they'll be around the high teens to 20s. We'll see exactly what happens there. And then they also have the Jeremy Grant situation, which we'll talk a little bit about more in a moment. But Eric Bledsoe is also a non-guaranteed deal. Bledsoe's deal, I believe, is for a little over $19 million this year, but they have to officially decline and not guarantee that contract by the 10th of July. So we'll probably get them have them make some moves, but ultimately I think that they will not guarantee his contract, and he will only be $3.9 million on the books for next year, as opposed to, again, that 19.3-ish million that he's due for this year. So big win there for Portland to be able to get off that money, or if they want to trade him, they can do that. But let's talk about trade candidates. So obviously Bledsoe mentioned if they want to guarantee his deal, they can and they will move him if they have the right deal in place. Josh Hart has been kind of in the rumor mill a little bit. There's apparently he was being asked for when it came to the OG Anunoby trade. That was rumored a little bit. But Hart, Winslow, Nasir Little, these are guys that they need to be able to figure out if they want to keep them long term. It'll be interesting. Don't think anything will happen there as far as in this offseason. But Jeremy Grant. So when you traded Jeremy Grant, you gave up a pick, and then that you just land Grant. Good move for Portland. I did make a trade video about this. Feel free to go check it out. But Grant is a guy who I think is really solid in a good role. Now you have to figure out how to pay him, because his money that he got from the Detroit Pistons was pretty good, $20 million this year and what was last year as well. So we'll see if they want to be around that still, or do they increase it? Grant is a guy who has been in the league for a while, and I think he's a dude who, I don't know if I think we've seen this ceiling. 27 years old, he'll be 28 He actually already is 28 years old. He turned 28 in March. So kind of in that awkward phase of, do you want to extend him? Do you want to maybe move him again? But I think Portland will try to extend him and just try to build this team to Damian Lillard's liking. But what else can the Blazers do? So they don't really have a whole lot of cap space right now. They are in a kind of a interesting situation where I think they could open up about $15 million, but more than likely they're going to bring back Nurkic, bring back Simons, and that there goes their cap space right there. So that's pretty much that. Now, if they have any potential trades that they want to do, they can also do that as well. I would anticipate a guy like Eric Bledsoe would be in those trade rumors, Josh Hart, but ultimately we will see. I think this team just needs defense. They drafted Shaedon Sharpe, who's not really, I think, ready right now for the NBA, but I think he'll come along, much like how Zach LaVine came along and took his time. CJ McCollum is another example. Portland usually will take their time with players, and I think this will pay dividends, but will it pay dividends in the short term? Probably not. 4 years from now, are we going to look and say Shaedon Sharpe was picked at 7 and Benedict Mathurin was taken at 6 and be like, wow, Indiana really missed on that one? I think we could. The trade has already happened. They have been in some talks with John Collins, Gene Anunoby that I mentioned earlier, and Luke Dort. I don't know what their move is at this point. They sound like they'll be a very similar team, but they'll just have Damian and they'll have Jeremy Grant along with Nurkic and Simons. So we'll see. We'll see. I think they're pretty much done this offseason. But if a trade comes up, we'll see what happens. But what do you think? Do you think the Blazers can make any other moves? Any other free agents that they want to sign? They're mostly all the way kind of filled up as far as their cap space goes, and they're over the cap with bringing back Simons and Nurkic. But anything that you want to see, let me know in the comments section. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and check out the other 30 videos that we're doing for all NBA teams and just previewing their offseason. But that's it for this one. Feel free to catch us in the next video.